My name's Werenczak, and I'm running for the St. Elizabeth's New York State Nurses Association LBU president. I've been a nurse for 11 years, 8 of which I've worked at St. Elizabeth's Medical Center, 3 of which I worked at Upstate. I'm currently employed in the psychiatric unit, but I've worked in the ED here as well, and the ED at Upstate too. I think I've made a pretty loud presence in the facility over the last year. Once the layoffs started coming about a year ago at the beginning of COVID is when I really started sounding the alarm. I knew it was going to take a lot of pressure, a lot of voice, and a lot of organization to be able to fight back against these layoffs. So I started becoming as active as I could within the union, organizing protests and pickets with the union, as well as doing speak outs, many of which I sought out myself at different radio agencies with different news stations to make sure that the community and the people who we are serving knew what was going on in the hospital and knew that we really needed their help, and the organization of the healthcare workers around the Mohawk Valley to stop the layoffs and get as many people back to work as possible. Yeah, so the current executive committee, I haven't heard or seen from them a whole heck of a lot. There's not a lot of communication, and they were not doing the outreach that I felt like the union really called for in order to be able to make these changes occur and really apply the pressure that's needed for an organization like this to bend a little bit and start seeing things more our way. So I really felt like a stronger voice was needed, and a lot of the executive committee have told me that they don't want to lose the respect of management. Now, I don't feel like I've lost the respect of management. I actually feel like the management respects me quite a bit, but I don't need to placate the administration of MBHS in order to gain their respect. I drive a hard bargain and I fight loudly, but that comes with the territory. You really need to, in the union, you really need to fight the boss. It's not about saying thank you, okay, and placating everything. Of course, it's about constructive conversations and working democratically with people, which I've done with the COVID action team that I helped organize. But it's really being willing to stand up and fight the boss, and a lot of times it's uncomfortable, and I understand some of the executive committee currently is uncomfortable with that, but it really is the vision of NYSNA as a larger union to fight the boss. It's not about becoming friends with the boss, it's about really fighting for your coworkers and fighting for the patient care. So one of the first things I want to do is to look at the bylaws of the union. We have a couple of different committees in the bylaws that are probably irrelevant. We have some that are relevant but that are not active. They've never been created, such as the nominations committee. The nominations committee basically creates a fair democratic election procedure that is non-biased, and that's for elections to the executive committee as well as elections for the delegates for the larger union. And right now that doesn't exist, but per our bylaws it should. So I think one of the first things I plan to do is look at those bylaws, see what is relevant, talk with the membership and seek their support to find out what it is and what types of committees they want to see in their union and what their interests are and what their needs are to move that forward and make it more relevant to us today. Another thing I'm hearing from a lot of the membership on my rounding is people who have been here are having a hard time wondering why they're staying when they haven't really been incentivized to do so. You've seen a $10,000 sign-on bonus recently come into fruition, and some of the nurses are saying like, hey, I've been here, what about me? And I completely understand that. I know that the current executive committee did work on getting a referral bonus for nurses, but the nurses here are really looking for more. So that's one of the first things I'm going to fight for. We've all been through a lot, and we've stuck through it with this organization, no matter how bad it got, and it's time for the organization to say, hey, we need to retain these people. So that's going to be one of the first things that I'm fighting for. I think my chances are pretty good. I think I've proven myself. I've really come out, and I haven't stopped from the beginning of the layoffs. I've been extremely active. I've done everything I could to organize. I've spoken with assembly members. I've done email chains to the mayor, to different local electeds. You know, and I want to continue to fight for the nurses here. They deserve a good, safe place to work at, and the community deserves a safe hospital to come to. So I think I have a fighting chance. I know that Sheila's been doing it a long time, and I appreciate all the hard work she's put in, and the other executive committee members, but sometimes there needs to be a change and some new blood in the water, and I think the time is now.
And you've certainly been in the trenches, so yeah, sounds like a good deal. All right then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.